morning, everybody. Thank you for joining this breakfast session. Today, we will be exploring how you can automate the student onboarding process and how this can improve both your student and your staff experience as a result of it. David, if you don't mind just going on to the next slide. Yeah, like my end. There we go. But just before we started, we thought it would be good to get a bit of a conversation going. I'm aware it's 9 o'clock on a Wednesday morning, so thought it would be fun to kick off having a bit of a conversation around what processes are automated in your daily life. So if you wouldn't mind for the next 2 minutes, just popping in the chat or raising your hand if you're happy to speak out. Just naming a couple of things that you have automated in your daily life, and then we can have a bit of a discussion or call out about them.
It's hard to think of them when you actually stop and ask the question.
Yeah, we were chatting about it earlier, and we've. Oh, Nathan might be on mute.
Sorry, Madeline. I was going to say, I don't know if it's true automation, but desk booking. There you go. We do all of our remote desk booking, don't we? Via an app, and it's automatically done for us. There you go. Rather than a neat human intervention. I was just trying to. It's difficult. It's difficult to try and think of something, but we know technology plays a part. But I was trying to think of something in my personal life actually. But,
yeah, I was thinking about it last night, and I was thinking about those alarm clocks that when they go off, you can have your kettle start to boil, so you can get your cup of tea in the morning. And I thought that would be the ideal situation. I've only got a 5-minute commute to the next room, but always a good one. Perfect. I've seen a few more coming in. Spotify playlist, regression testing on new systems, stuff with SITs and Netflix. So amazing. So David, if you don't mind just going to the next, smart radiator valves. Yeah. Let's go on to the next one. So these were a couple of the ones that we thought of. Just in daily life, personal banking, having your payments going out automatically, getting those discount vouchers on your vital online shopping that we seem to do a lot of the time now. But while it's just a bit of fun to kind of get us thinking, it's not really surprising that in your working life and your students as well, that they expect to see that level of automation when we have it day to day and we interact with it constantly. So we will go into a little bit more about the HE hub, if that's all right, David. Go on to the next slide. So just for those of you that are new to the HE hub, give you a bit of background of what it is, why we put it together, and what we'll be talking about moving forward. So the HE hub really was created to bring together our peers in the HE sector through sessions online with business leaders in the sector, and have some discussions around relevant themes for you guys and demos of the technology. The goal really is to break down those business challenges around the opportunities that you've got and the technology that can get behind them. But the themes, what is really important for us is these themes are built for you, by you. So it's really about the collaboration. So if any of you have any themes that you're keen to discuss or would be happy to present on in the future, please just let us know. It's something that we're really keen to kind of get a bit of a community going around this as well. And then if we just feed into the next slide, a bit more background about Crimson very quickly. So our main goal really, and I suppose our mission statement, is to unite people, processes and technology to solve your toughest business challenges. And that's something that we really try and champion in everything that we do. And the goal around delivering iterative and agile techniques so you can see value quicker can help validate both your business cases and actually improve your user adoption in your staff and make sure that you're ready for success. So we did celebrate our 20th birthday early this year. We are Microsoft Gold Partner, and we help across several sectors from higher education, housing, home builders in the UK and housing associations. And really the goal is to realise the opportunity of Microsoft technology. And we have technology practices through Azure, Dynamics 365, Modern Workplace with SharePoint and Power Apps, as well as our data practice and our Power BI consultancy. So a real array of capabilities and skill sets as well as practices with common goals in mind for your sector to drive those better journeys and those customer engagements. But how do we differentiate across the sector? So David, next slide, if that's all right. So we're lucky to work with a lot of higher education customers, and some of them we've collated our technology kit bag along with skills and expertise into sector specific accelerators across the Microsoft stack. And that use of technology and our expertise helps us to deliver intelligent customer experiences, the optimized business processes, and actually actionable data insights that help bridge the gap of those business problems, that technology, and the outcomes that you're looking to achieve at the end of it. Now, just linking back to today's session, so we talk a lot in the sector about that desire to increase that automation, and David and some of the guys have some really great content to run through with you in a little bit, aligned to that message, but also hopefully to give you a bit of food for thought, so how we can start breaking that down and start on that journey. But first, before we get into that, we thought it would be good to do a few introductions. So, David, on the next slide. You might be in the hot seat. I think you're first. Don't mind.
Okay, thanks, Madeline. Good morning, everybody. My name's David Campbell-Lloyd. I'm head of consultancy here at Crimson. My role's very much one of looking to the future, understanding how we might leverage the technologies that are coming down the roadmap all the time now to better help organisations such as yourselves. We just thought it'd be a bit more fun rather than do all the sort of the corporate blurb, just to sort of show that we are real people now, rather than just somebody sat at the other end of a microphone. So just a few interesting pictures there. So yes, I do play guitar. I don't sing. I am singing in that pictures, but I don't sing. I think I was just doing backing vocals on that particular one. And I do try to get out and about, and I'm quite an adventurous sort, and I've done various things like parachuting and skydiving and all sorts of bits and pieces over the years. Madeline?
Yeah, so thanks, David. So I'm a new business consultant. I am being showed up a little bit here. David, when he put the pictures in, he's out doing a vast array of hobbies. I do not have the same level of hobbies that David has. I'm not as skilled as him, it would seem. But what I did try and make the most of the heat wave that we've been experiencing. So I went camping, and that's something that I really am a big advocate for, getting out, getting the fresh air, and did some kayaking with some of my friends. I love to travel and managed to squeeze in one last holiday before everything happened last year. So if anyone has any travel tips for when we can finally get out again, let me know. And finally, I was born and raised in Kent, but I've recently moved to London, but around the corner from my sister, who has just got 2 new kittens. So I've become their adoptive mother. But you can probably see I've got one on my lap, but also a glass of wine in my hand. So I feel like that's a good balance going on there. So yeah, that's a little. Not now. Don't have one right here, don't worry. So I think that is a little bit about Crimson and us personally, but I'll now hand over to David and some of the guys to run through that technology. If you've got any questions throughout, pop them in the chat. I'll keep an eye on it. But also, if you just want to raise your hand, speak out, please don't hesitate. There's a few of us on the call, so I'm sure everyone will be open to that.
Okay, thank you, Madeline. Okay, we're going to just start the session just by having a little a walk around and a quick tour and an explanation of what we're going to show this morning. So for the student journey, what we've designed within our Dynamics product set, basically, and using Power Portals is a capability for both students and students' agents, for example, to use web portals actually to control the entire application process all the way through to offer acceptance, for example, and then beyond into their student life. This allows us basically to do some really clever things with the data and actually bring in tools such as automation and AI and machine learning, etc., at the back end, so that we can actually try and take some of the administrative burden off organisations such as yourself as we go through that particular process. So just really briefly, I'm just going to give you a quick tour of this is obviously just one of our demonstration portals, but just some of the things that are in there. So we have a knowledge base basically built into the system. This means you can answer questions, or a student or a prospective student can self-serve and get answers to those questions directly from the actual knowledge base from the portal, and that actually could be tied into information which is already on your website as well, as part of that process. We have the ability to basically for students and agents to submit new applications. Within those applications, they can have a single choice or maybe a number of choices, for example, for courses that they might wish to do within the organization, and that application process we'll see in a short while, stepping through from first application through to submission, and you can see how that will be controlled. We have the ability to go back and see the applications that they may have already submitted, so they could in theory submit more than one application if necessary, and again, you know, depending on what it is they're looking to do, it might be an entirely different type of application. So one could be a degree apprenticeship, for example, another might be another sort of application within the organization, and again, each of those applications could in theory have a number of choices or a single choice. We can also control the interviews from here, and we've got a number of configuration options around interviews. So one option is that individuals can self-serve and actually book their interview via the portal. The other option is basically that you control that back office and you basically send them an invite to a specific interview slot. And again, we'll show you that in a bit more detail. And of course, we've got student support. So, you know, it might be a prospective student might be just doing an inquiry and want to ask a question, so they can submit it to your inquiries team, or it might be that, for example, we've passed through the process and they're actually a student now, so they could still use this portal, and they've got a query, a question, or a problem, or an issue that they need to resolve, and it'll actually help manage through that entire process. So you can see there straight away, you know, there's a lot of information that's held within this portal, and basically gives us that interactions. We also have messaging within here, so you can actually send a prospective student a message directly via the portal, which means that's nice and secure, much securer than say email, for example, and allow them to basically see the offer letters and whatever it happens to be directly from the portal, if that's what you would wish to do. I'm just going to drag a different portal over. It's going to look exactly the same to you guys, but I'm just going to drop on say my applications for a second. And you see here, this is actually the agents portal. So what I've got here is the ability to see the things that I've created, my branch basically, so I can actually link agents to a particular branch or sub branches. So you can actually set up agents and agencies in a hierarchy, and the agents, when they come in, have got visibility of all the applications that they're supporting within your organization on what stage they happen to be. So there's a lot of functionality there, which we're going to obviously only touch on this morning, and we'll then hop into the back end and have a look at the back end and see what else is available basically as part of this automation process. Now, I've invited one of my colleagues, Mark Cotton, to join us. Mark was working in delivery and has a 9:30 appointment because he's extremely important and valuable member of staff. So what I'd like to do is actually just invite him now, just to show you a bit of automation around document management. And this is around uploading of documents and how we can use the automation tools that we have and things like AI in the background to again help with the administrative burden. Once Mark's done that, I can then release Mark and he can go about his business for the day, and then we'll go back and actually look at the application process from start to finish. Okay, Mark. Still on mute.
Trying desperately to not be on mute. Thank you, David. Morning all. What I'm going to take us through is a piece of automation that we've done for an organisation, solicitors, and they deal with data breach claims. So, for example, if EasyJet have had data stolen, you'll get a notification from EasyJet telling you so, and you can claim against EasyJet. And so they are a solicitors firm that deal with that. Part of that process is identification and verification. So the customer is required to upload a passport to verify that they are who they say they are. So one of the things that they wanted to do was when a customer uploads a passport, they wanted to verify that the image that they've uploaded has a photo on it, and that image also contains the word passport. There are many other kinds of things that we could do to verify that it is indeed a passport or a driving license or a national ID, but for this organisation, that was enough. So let me take you through the process. There's various different bits of technology here at play from the Power Platform, so I'll call them out as we go along. But first and foremost, the data hits this solution that we've built via a Facebook form. Now, I'm not able to demo the Facebook form to you, so just very briefly, if you'll forgive me, what I'm doing here is, this is a tool that I use as a test harness to push a lump of data through into the integration process. So I know it looks a bit codey, but forgive this bit. I'll send a lump of data into the integration process, and this is the thing that the Facebook integration does. That Facebook integration calls an Azure Logic app. So I'm referring to loads of different technologies here as we go through this. I guess if you want to, if you're interested in any bit in particular, if you reach out to us afterwards, then we can drill into them. So this is the piece of integration, running, still running, never goes quicker when you're in a demo. Ultimately, what will happen is it will finish and it will create a data claim. Oh God, it really does go slow. It will create a data claim in the back-end system. Just going to have a quick look at it to see how far it's got. Okay. Okay, so it's trying to create the claim. Sorry, folks.
Mark, just while that's running, you've got some examples where we obviously work with universities around this bit around admissions. I know some of the tools that you're about to show are used to go in and check documents, and again, you mentioned passports, etc., as part of the admissions process. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what this is. And I think what I might do, if this doesn't actually work in the next few seconds, I might just go and show you one that I've uploaded previously. Yeah, let's do that, because that's embarrassingly slow. So let's minimize that. Oh, there you go. Okay, so it didn't get it failed. Of course it did. So let's go and have a look at one that I did earlier today. So ultimately, what happens when, if and when that piece works, is one of these claims gets created in the back-end system. If I go and have a look at one, what I'm able to record against these claims is documents that have been uploaded. So I have an entity here that they've called document metadata. Okay. So if I go and have a look at this one, it's interesting actually. I can tell by the noises I'm getting in the background that it has done some automation, because some of these emails are coming through. So it's partly worked. Anyway, this is one that I did earlier this morning. If I go and have a look at the document metadata related to that, you can see here that this user has indeed uploaded their passport 3 times. So let's just go and have a look at one of the passports that they uploaded. This is an image of a passport. And when they uploaded this image, it got rejected and an email got sent through to the user telling them that that isn't a passport. If we then go, so they then responded to that email that they received, and then they did ultimately then send through an actual passport. And what the back-end process did is it found a face on this image, it found the word passport up there, and because it found both the face and the word passport, it gave it a score of 2, and therefore, because 2 things were correct, and therefore it passed verification, and as such, we then came back and we marked as the IDMV has been successfully uploaded when it was uploaded and that it was passed. The final variant of that is this one, whereby it found the word passport, but it didn't find a face. So in this case, it got set as manual assessment. So here what we're doing is we're inviting the people in the back end to come and verify manually whether it is actually a passport or not, and then they can set it to rejected like this if they want, save that record, and that then causes the user to get an email, the customer to get an email asking them to resubmit a better image of their passport. So I'm just going to very quickly try this. Yeah, okay, it did get most of the way through. It's interesting. Okay. So I've just, it has now finally worked. So briefly, let's just go, I'll go through it. Facebook form got completed. The customer receives an email. They respond to the email and they choose to continue their claim. This is a Power Apps portal. They register on the portal. So this is using the exact same technology as the portal technology that David has just shown you. Most of the data required in this portal is already filled in because we got it already from Facebook. So the only thing that they're required to do here is read through this and upload documents. So they click to upload documents, they'll upload a document, they'll say that they want to upload a passport, they'll choose a file. I won't, for this particular example, I won't bother choosing a bad image, I'll just choose a good image, because basically I'm running out of time. So the customer has now done their piece on their portal. Now we switch to what's happened in the back end, and we can see that a new claim has just come in. This one here, 1414. And from there, we can see that the document has landed, but it probably hasn't yet been processed. So if we go and have a quick look at the automation to see what's happening there. Okay, okay, so it has processed. So it ran quickly actually. So in 23 seconds, it got the document from the back-end system, set up a bunch of variables, came down to this path here. It went and got the file from SharePoint. So we're using Power Portals, Power Apps. We're using SharePoint. We're using Azure Storage. From the Azure Storage, we're then using machine learning to detect faces in the image. We then do some text recognition within it. And if we find all of those things, we then push it through into Power Apps. And in this case, it's a pass. So it's gone down this route and it's updated the claim and it's set the document metadata as a pass. So if we now click through to here, we can see that that automation did its thing. It did indeed check all of those things, and it has given it a score of 2. So I can only apologise for my stumble at the start. You might have noticed from dates and times that I did plenty of prep for this morning, but of course it never goes right when you're actually doing the demo. So I think that's it from me. Anybody, David, Nathan, anything to add around that?
No, I think that's brilliant, Mark. And yeah, the demo gremlins get us all from time to time, so don't worry about that at all. But the point there basically it's that automation around the document. So what actually that does is it saves a human basically having to go and check to see if that is actually a passport that's being uploaded and they have got the right information available to the system. And of course, these tools where we're using that machine learning and the AI that's actually sitting in the background will allow us to actually gather lots more information, so we could actually strip all the information out of the passport, so the date of birth, the full name, everything like that, and validate that against whatever might be, for example, submitted on an application in a student's journey. So you start to automate those processes and trying to again remove a bit of that administration burden from the journey basically that students or prospective students are going on. Mark, that's excellent.
Yeah, great.
I'll let you go.
Thanks. Just briefly, just to fill in from some of the stuff you said there. Yes, I am only checking for the word passport, but quite rightly, as you said, David, we can get the passport number from there. I know it looks very codey, but you can see that there's the passport. And equally, for the face recognition, we can say that it's a male. We can see it's a male. We can see approximately their age, facial hair, glasses, and all that sort of stuff. So we get a lot of rich information from this AI stuff that we now have available to us in Azure. And it's quite then easy to build all of that into an automation process. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, just going to share mine. Just bear with me 2 seconds, folks.
David, but just while you're doing that, just a quick question out to people that are attending. So we've got one university that have used a lot of those tools that Mark has shown through their application and admission process. So they're using a lot of the automation tools and AI tools to check documents as they go through. Can anyone have a guess at how much of a percentage gain they've got in their efficiency through the application and admissions process? And it's just a guess. You can put your guesses in the chat or shout them out. See if anyone gets it right. Okay, no one's having a guess, so I'll put it in there. They got a 20% efficiency gain in managing the applications through the admissions process as well. So yeah, they saw a really good improvement and supported, as Madeline said, the staff that work in the admissions team. So yeah, it was a good gain, but it was the first year they ran it through. And of course, AI will learn, and hopefully that'll improve and give them a better efficiency gain as they do the next intake this year.
Okay, folks, so I'm going to jump on and just go through a quick application journey. So don't shoot me for some of the data that I might punch in here, because it is going to be just quick and simple. So I'm actually logged in as myself, just using my one of my old email addresses, just as a way of actually sort of running through this process. I can come in, I can add extra information. You can see, because I'm logged into the portal, it's already filled in a lot of information for me, but it might be, okay, yeah, I want to put my title in there. It's asking for my gender, so I can complete that in there. And really what we're going to do is we're going to step through all of these stages. Now I can save as draft. I can come back to it, and I can submit documents later before submitting, or even after the submission process. That process is very much driven around what you might want within your organization to suit the way you work as you go through that process. Okay, so so what we've done then, I've submitted my personal information. It's now asking me to sort of choose a course, so I can go and do a search on all the courses basically that are available. So obviously what type of study, so let's say we're going to do, say, some grad research basically. I'll search that. I could search for a specific title, year of entry, and obviously I've got a whole set basically of different items here. I'm going to go for this. I'm a bit of an engineer, so that sounds quite nice. Sustainable propulsion. So let's select that. I obviously can make more than one choice where I'm unsure, and I can carry on. So I'm now tying an application to a specific choice, and the system will add that in the background. And then I can just move again to the next step. So the next one really is just making sure that all of my contact information is correct. So obviously when I register on the portal, I don't necessarily need to give full address information and stuff like that. It's just login credentials and email. Just a little delay while that's processing. So here we go. So I've got my contact details, all of the contact information that's relevant to me. Oop, jumping about a bit. So again, so I'm going to say make something else. So enter my house, and use my mobile number. So usual thing, put a noise in there because I'm allowed to do that at the moment. There we go. And here, for example, it's saying, do you need to upload any personal information documents? So, for example, if I say I've got a previous name because maybe I've got married or something, and my name's changed, or I've changed my name by default, and I need to basically prove my identity. Again, I can upload at this point specific documents. I'm not going to go in at this stage though. I don't need anything at this stage. And you notice the system's not stopping me anyway. It's letting me carry on, but it will validate at the end before I can continue that I've actually provided all the relevant information for the application to be successfully assessed. So then we're into our residency details. So obviously this is your country of origin, basically. And now again, as it happens, I've actually got another application in already, so it is able to pull that information through for me. But again, I can upload a residency document, so it might be that I need to provide, say, a passport, for example, and you can see here a few methods of providing that residency proof. So I'm going to just jump in here and I'm going to go to there and just say, here's a passport. Submit that. And that's the same process that Mark just showed you. So the person's just using the portal, uploading the documentation. And when they upload that documentation, we can run that validation in the background. Go to next. And I'm into uploading my education information. Okay, so add a qualification. So again, what's the qualification type? So let's say it's secondary or high school. Let's say it's my school. Qualification GCSE. Let's say that's geography. When did I do that from? I'm just going to put some dummy dates in here now. Oops. There we go. And of course, they can upload the various different things. Again, they can upload documents to support that, the various bits of evidence, and we're clicking and we're on to the next thing. And again, because obviously, this portal can be used for overseas students and all other things, you can capture English and what English qualifications they might have. So this is done just as a separate step in its presentations. But again, in you go. Selected in a particular English qualification. So let's say GCSE in English. I've completed that and day of award. And submit. There we go. Save and next. Again, I could provide the English language documents if I wish at that point. And then we're into professional qualifications. I'm just going to skip that one. Say I haven't got any. The next one is basically the nominee. So obviously I can define a nominee. Then that might be an agent. It might be a guardian. It might be, say, somebody at my school or college, for example. can move on. And again, we've got other information. So provide referee information, provide your personal statements. So again, I can just say, right, I'm going to upload my personal statement. My personal statement. Again, choose the file. So let's say here's the personal statement, open, submit that. Save and next. You see here there's under 18 specific. I've already provided the information that I'm not under 18 anyway, so I just can move on through that one automatically. Equal opportunities, do I have a disability? No. Do I have any special arrangements? No. What's my ethnicity? So white British. Am I a care leaver? No, I'm not. On a go, and again, those indicators could refer this application to the various departments within your organisations to provide the relevant support. I'm going for apply for Research Council for funding in this instance. And I'm going to use the that one there. Save and next. And now it's going to take me into the supporting documentation. So I've uploaded some documents as we've gone, so it should be happy with that, but it'll tell me if there's anything that I still need, basically. Okay, so here I can see there's documents required to assess my application, but I have actually got nothing left that I need to submit the application in this instance. So again, the system's helping the individual actually steer them through that process and say, we will need these documents to finish off, but you can submit your application. If there was anything we specifically needed for submission that I haven't uploaded, like say a personal statement or evidence of residency or whatever it happens to be, then that would pop up there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is save and next. I'm not going to bother uploading these now because we've just seen uploading documents. Okay, again, I can save it as a draft and come back to it later, or I can submit that application. Okay, so we can walk through that process, and again, that's just how it's been designed in this instance. But that's created an application, application number 19, basically on the system. I can go back to it, view the application. I can see my offer documents when we get to that point. I can upload documents from within the system. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hand over to Adam, who's just going to talk about in the back end process for a second. What happens when it gets to the interview stage, for example, and how that can interact via the portal. Okay, Adam.
Yeah, I'll just share my screen now. So hopefully you can all see that. So I have just opened up in Dynamics. So on the back end, I've opened up the application, the choice that Dave has just submitted on the portal. And what we can do is obviously normally you would go through the process of assigning it to a reviewer, academic checks, etc. But just because of time, we're going to go straight to the interview management and actually getting an interview booked in. So you can see here we have a interview management tab. So we'll just switch over to that one. And now we can define whether a interview is actually required or not. So you can see here we've got multiple options. So whether the university needs to schedule it, which is what we'll be showing you now, whether it's an individual interview or whether it's a group interview, whether the applicant needs to book it themselves or whether it's managed by a school. So purely for this example, we will check individual. And what that's going to do, you can see there's updated some fields. And what this has done is it's brought in a embedded Canvas app here. So this just gives you a little bit more functionality over your sort of standard Dynamics fields. And this is actually, in this case, going to allow us to actually select one of these predefined interview slots and actually make it available for the student on the other end to actually book themselves. So you can see here it's brought across, so this one is actually filtered on the course that Dave selected earlier. And now we can say, okay, we can see here the date and times we have available. So these interview slots have been created previously, and you can see which ones are booked and which ones are not. So you can see we've got a couple of single interviews here, and we've also got a group one as well. But for this one, we'll just go with one of the ones that is not been booked yet. We've still got one remaining here. So we're just going to highlight that there in the Canvas app, and we can then create the slot booking. And now that we've done that, it gets rid of that Canvas app because we don't need it anymore. And you can see that we've actually brought through an interview booking record. So this is what it looks like on the back end, from the university's end. You can see that we've got the date, the time, the duration, the actual interview slot this individual booking is looking up to, and also it looks at the choice as well. So that's what the interview looks like on the university end, but then what does this actually look like for the student, the potential student to actually book the interview? So it will hop out of Dynamics and back into the same portal that Dave was showing earlier. We'll give that a refresh because we've actually made that interview slot available now. And once it finishes loading, you can see there that we now have an interview slot ready for us to book. So it gives you the course, the application that you've actually submitted. So maybe if you've had multiple applications, you can see which one this is actually linked to. You can see the date and time, the location, the duration, and whether it's a group or a single interview. So what we can do now is, you can see here, it's in our calendar. We can check if we've got any other interviews that we might have on the same day. But because we don't, we can go here, press confirm interview. Do you want to confirm interview booking? Confirm. And now that will book it in. And you can see there, it changes to booked/accepted. And now we can have a total view of all the other applications that we might have in this month. So that's really it, just a quick run through of the interview process. So I'll hand back over to Dave if there's no questions at all.
Okay, thank you very much, Adam. Just share back for myself. So basically, as Adam just showed you a glimpse of the back office stuff that's going on there, and you can see there you can manage that process right the way through from all of the application stages through to the interviews, and the interviews can interact. And again, we can then carry on, and you can make an offer, and the offers can interact as well. It just time doesn't allow us to go through an end-to-end process today, so we just wanted to give you a few examples. Beyond that, then obviously we get through the process, and we actually basically have the students become students, and then you can use the portal to again carry on and support through their process. So we just wanted to end by really showing you a very quick sort of student support type scenario and how that might work. So again, I'm just going to share my desktop. Okay, so I'm still in the same portal I was before as myself. And what I'm going to do is go in and say, okay, I want to ask a question. So you can see here, I've got some knowledge-based articles about staying safe, TV licensing, knowing the facts, you know, accommodation, all sorts of other bits and pieces that are obviously available there. Let's just assume that I've searched knowledge base and I haven't found the right answer, or I'm lazy, I haven't bothered searching the knowledge base, and I'm going to go to student support, and I need to ask student support a question in this instance. So I'm going to go here, and again, what the system does is it automatically allows me to do a search here for the knowledge base. So again, it's trying to present the right information. I can see any previous questions I've asked and what the answer is, but I'm going to just jump in straight and say, now, I'm being lazy. I'm not looking at the resources that are available. I'm just going to ask a question by submitting something. So up here, I'm going to say, you know, do I need TV license? Okay, and what will happen basically is the system is still, even as I'm trying to submit a case, trying to present to that particular individual, actually, we've got the information you need here. You do not need to submit a case, which will need managing by somebody in our back office. Okay, so we were trying to deflect and provide the right information to an individual as they're going through this journey. So I can actually see from here, for example, yes, we have information about the TV license, and I can click on that straight into the knowledge base. I think this is linked directly to the BBC's page, actually, relevant to this information. So it gives them all the bits of information regarding that. Okay, so again, I can say yes, I found my answer. So knowledge base in the background, we can see who's actually accessed that articles. If they said yes, this has answered their question. So you can rate and understand the effectiveness of the knowledge base. But of course, it might be the fact that actually it doesn't answer my question. So they might want to sort of carry on and say, look, I've got a question. And in there, basically, they can classify it, or you can choose to have classifications in there if you so wish. And again, these are just in here just as an example of some of the things you can do, and then the individual can obviously put their own text in and submit that. So what's actually happening there is that's actually coming in as a case. It's sitting in the system as a case. And again, I'll just jump into here and we'll go and have a look at, I just need to switch apps. So we're going to our customer services team app, basically, where I can see the cases. Okay, and I'll see that there's a case coming. Do I need a TV license with some gobbledygook in the description? That'll be me. And again, it's how do you quickly respond to that and actually answer that question. So we want to use that knowledge base. We've got the knowledge base there. We've got that information available to us. So what I'm going to do is, do you know what? I'm just going to respond by sending them an email about that. And within the email, I'm basically saying I want to insert a knowledge base article. And then I get my quick browser for my knowledge base articles. And again, if I say, right, it's going to be TV, do a search, there we go, know the facts, and I'll click that button. And what it's done is it's just dropped that article directly into the email. So I can now send that to them, basically. I'll just save it and close it for now. And carry on and just resolve that particular query because I've answered the question. There should be nothing else. Now, at the other end, so if we go back here, I can see that I've got that there. I can drill into it. I can actually have a look at that. I can see it's been resolved. If it's been resolved, if I decide to drop in an update, I can drop an update. I can send a message on there, or of course a resolved case. I might not think it's resolved as a student. I can open it again and ask another question off the back of that. So again, it's just another method of using the automation processes by providing the portal and allowing somebody to self-serve and actually provide the right information to you on the other side of that. Now, I just wanted to finish that off with just sort of talking about this slide quickly. So what we're really doing is whether it's an inquiry pre-application, during the application process, post-admission, it doesn't really matter. This actually all applies. And what you've got basically is the ability to do external searches, then use your website and your portal to provide the right information. Then we can use virtual agents to actually answer questions. And then we can do things like allow your customer services team, your inquiry teams to use web chat. And then ultimately might get to an individual agent, for example, where that student's communicating with an agent to resolve the more complex questions. And what we're doing in that deflection, basically, and actually trying to provide that information is try to take the pressure off your agents. And what we do is we use a number of tools within the Dynamics suite. So the knowledge base, which I've shown, we've got queue processes, which allow us to basically route specific types of inquiries, case management and quick inquiries, team allocation, agent allocation, and all those automation processes that would work in the background. Now, right. Really quickly, I'd like to just ask Adam just to drop back on again. Adam, could you just show the virtual agent on the portal, which is interacting here?
Yep, sure. So you can see we're on the same portal that we've always been on, and if you can see at the bottom right-hand side here, we've got a little chat module asking if we need help. So like Dave was just saying, maybe I've been through, as a student or a potential student, I've been through the knowledge articles, I've been through the whole website, and I can't seem to find the answer to the question that I've got. I might see this here, and I might be able to actually ask the question and get it answered for me. So what this is going to do, rather than sending this straight to an actual human agent, a virtual agent is going to pop in beforehand just to try and sort of deflect it and answer the question without sending it to an actual human who has to then deal with it. So you can see here it comes in, identifies itself as a virtual agent, and asks what it can help us with today. So say, for example, with this one, I might need a repair in my student accommodation. So I'll just type in, I need a repair. Obviously, it doesn't have to be word for word like that. It is actually pretty good at sort of identifying which topic, which question you're asking, because around this, we've got a set of predefined topics. So we've identified, say, these are the most common questions that we get asked, and we've actually set out topics to help answer them. So I need a repair. And what that's going to do is, once my internet catches up, it's going to come back with, it's going to identify which topic this is actually looking up to, and it's going to come back with the predefined message. So it's just taking a little while with my internet. I can swap over and show you the back end if it decides not to. I'll try it again. See if it's my internet or what's going on here. So that's not playing ball, but what I can show you is the actual back end of this and where we have actually set out the topic. So you can see here, I've got my trigger phrases, which will actually identify that this is a student accommodation repair question. And this is actually set out basically a flow chart of how we want that conversation to go with the student or the potential student. So we come in with the trigger phrase, we tell them thanks for getting in touch, blah, blah, blah. This one is around COVID-19. So we're only doing emergency repairs. This is what counts as an emergency repair. And then we can ask them a question. Does your repair fall under any of the above an emergency? So if I just do this here really quickly, you can see, there you go. It's identified the topic. It's come down here. It's asked me the question. So I might say, yes, it is an emergency. And there, it's telling us we can report the repairs on this number. But if not, we can actually transfer to a human agent because it's identified that maybe this actually needs the human touch. But maybe we know, we'll just report over the phone, and then it goes, okay, is there anything else you need assistance with? And then basically it can kickstart this whole process again and identify any other topic that the user might be asking about. So that's really it. That's just one simple sort of topic. There's a lot more you can go into depth, but purely because of time, I'll just show you that one topic today.
Thank you very much, Adam. It's worth noting, actually, one of the tools that's available with the virtual agent is that you can actually point it at a knowledge base that you already have, and it will use the machine learning tools to actually learn what questions might get asked and how to route that basically to the relevant knowledge articles, and it helps you actually structure the algorithm that Adam just showed you in the back end there for actually providing that information. But again, this is all about deflection. It's about really trying to apply the 80-20 rule, where, you know, those top 10 questions we always get asked, but 80% of the time, can we automate those? Can we provide those answers and try and actually alleviate that pressure from our teams, so our teams are asking the exceptional or answering the exceptional questions rather than actually answering all the same things all the time. Okay, so that gives us about 5 minutes to spare. So Madeline, I think we can hand back to you just to wrap up and see if there are any questions.
Of course. Thanks, David. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, does anyone have any questions at all from today? I know there's been a bit of range of technology and options around the automation shed. So is there anything that anyone is a little bit more interested in or wants to hear a little bit more about at all? Maybe not. I suppose from me, David, one question I would have is what's the first step? I suppose we've gone through a fair bit. How do you first start in deciding which part of those automation you've shared is the right one to kick off with?
I think really what we would generally do is an art of the possible session with individual organisations where we could run through what we've shown today, for example, in end to end in full detail, and look at all the technologies available. And then really with the organisation is actually decide where the priorities lie, because different organisations have different priorities. There, some people might want to automate the application process. Some people might want to say, well, actually, how do we take the pressure off our inquiry teams and how we do that first before we can actually sort of deal with the bigger process, because that will give us bandwidth to actually put the effort into actually refining our processes. So I think really, if anybody's interested, contact us and we'll come and have a chat to you about running an art of the possible session, and out of that session we'll make a set of recommendations on how you might want to take things forward.
Amazing. We've had thanks, David. We've had one question from Lucy. Do you want to go off mute and read it out, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you've done integrations with student databases. I'm thinking specifically of the SITS Vision.
Yes.
So you have, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, there's obviously there's different student data information systems out there. So SITS, Lucid, Banner, for example. So when you're talking about those things, I mean, generally it's common for us when we're implementing to have to integrate in some form. Sometimes it's just pushing information one way. So it might be UG information, which traditionally obviously comes through the UCAS sort of application route into your SIS system, but you might want to hold that information on this side as well, so you can give people access to do the various things that we've been showing you here. But yes, it's pretty well every university we work with will be integrating if we've not done already.
That's great, thank you.
Perfect. Okay, just aware of timing.
Yes, sorry, Nathan has just made a comment about so we've got SITS, tribal SITS Banner as I mentioned, but also we've done SAP, which is an unusual one to come across, but we do have a university that's using SAP.
Perfect. Any more questions? Don't think we've got any more. If you do, just give me a shout. I've popped down my details on this screen. Hopefully you found today's session insightful, but I've put down my mobile number, my email, and my LinkedIn. So give me a follow on there if there's anything that you want to talk about. If there's anything today that's been interesting and you want to discuss more around the integration or the automation piece that David, Adam, and Mark have run through, just send me an email or reach out. We do have 2 QR codes here if you're happy to scan them. The first one is for our Crimson Higher Education page on LinkedIn. It's a really good platform. We share a lot of information around events, blogs, and other stuff we're doing in the market. So worth a read if you follow that. It'll be really helpful. And then finally, we do have another QR code for the survey. So if you give this a quick scan, it's a 2-minute survey just to give us a bit of feedback on how we found today, what content you'd enjoy seeing maybe in the future, and anything else that you'd like to discuss. So I'm aware people jumping off as it's a morning, but hopefully that has been helpful. Thank you to everyone for jumping on, and we do have another session in around 6 to 8 weeks time, so keep an eye out for that, and we'll be posting it on that LinkedIn page. So if you give it a follow, you should see it all on there. I think that's it from me. So thank you, everyone, and have a lovely day.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Bye.